How's it going, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. Not one of these days. I have to go to the bathroom. It's not like anybody's here, so who cares, but I do have to go. BRB. There we go. Perfect stream. Perfect stream. Hey. Hear the sirens call. Now the angel falls to the night. Be back in a sec. I have to go to the bathroom. Well, yeah. Morning, terrible. Morning, my good man. How's it going? I am good. My sleep schedule has gone sideways, but I'm falling asleep at like 1 o'clock in the morning now and waking up at like midnight. Not 1 o'clock in the afternoon and waking up at midnight. So, but I'm good. I'm good. Ugh. Work. That is a sideways sleep. I agree. It's it's easy. Why not simply ask your rich grandfather, who must own at least one diamond mine, for a loan of several $1,000,000? I know. Yeah. How goes everything terrible? How goes your writing, by the way? I feel like you're always doing everybody else's. How's yours going? Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Yeah. I feel. I feel I feel a little bit like that right now. That I've hit a slowdown period. Just, I've just been tired these past few days. Trying to get. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Fucking cars, right? they're always the most stressful thing in the world. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Ugh. Can't we all just like, I don't know. You never heard people complain about this with horses. I know horses. Clearly, I know how horses work. Horses never break down. Nothing ever goes wrong when riding a horse. Yeah. Ugh, that sounds stressful. Exactly. If we hadn't given up on horse technology, think how far we would have been. Exactly. Delicious, delicious horses. We could have like caught like jaguars or something and had them run. Think about it, a horde of jaguars carrying us to and fro. I'm pretty sure that would work out. That does sound like a stressful few days. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. I am. It happens. We can't remain in stasis forever. Yeah, it just happens. And at some point, your new thing will. Yep, change is good. I mean, it's like it's gonna happen no matter what. So you can either be, you can be the one steering the ship, or you can be the one being battered by the storm. So, you know, yeah. Okay, here's my pitch: Diamond Heist. Logically, career-wise, it makes the most sense for you to pull off a high-stakes diamond heist. Untraceable cougarans. Exactly. You need to get your hands on some bearer bonds. Just make sure to not screw up the. Don't mix up the chocolate chips for diamonds. Yes. All righty then. All right, all ready, all right. Ready. I don't remember how that song ends. Good talking to you. Head to work. Yes, head to work. How's it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ahoy, hoy. How's it going? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hope this morning or it's going. It's a some days with art you I feel unconquerable and I can do anything, and some days with art everything is a struggle. And today is a struggle day. So tell me, what are you writing? So tell me about the story you're working on. Okay. Yeah. I always picture it like a the way I always think of it is like it's kind of like a particularly grindy JRPG, and some days you just have to like you know today is or like an MMORPG, and today is just like the quest where you have to kill like 30 boars. Some days it's super interesting and fun, but today I'm just killing a bunch of boars in the forest. Yeah. I see. I'm a little bit the opposite with you right now. I'm in the opposite position. I'm in a bit of a writing block, so I'm doing some art to get out of it. That's fun. Okay. I would like to just draw one good drawing today. That's my only goal, and I probably won't hit that. Yeah, but that is the thing, especially with art. You're connected to this. Yeah. True, true, true. But by my subjective taste, I would like a good to do a good drawing. It probably won't happen today. So how long have you been doing art? So what type of art do you usually do? Oh, I am. So tell me what type of art do you usually do, and what type of writing do you usually do? Because we do both here on this channel, mostly. That's cool. Do you have any comics and stuff you'd like to share? Love to see some. Oh, trust me, I'm there as well. So, what type of stuff do you write normally? Yeah. That's fun. How long have you been working on the original? I always find hard sci-fi so hard to write. Yeah. Ugh, it takes so long to work on these things. I've been working on my writing project for like a couple of months, about a year, I would estimate. But I say about a year, but I say that like I've been writing it consistently throughout the year and not taking several months off in between. Yeah. Well, that's always a good thing to be. But I'm far enough along in my project, in this project at least, and I'm fairly confident I can get it out. Hopefully. Well, that's cool. I wish I could talk more competently on physics. I just Yeah, but I don't know as much about them. I swear I used to be able to do this. I swear I used to be. Yeah. I swear I used to be able to do a lot of this art. Yeah. I'm a big history. I'm a big history nerd, so I have also known the allure of reading the Wikipedia page, but I'm trying lately to be a little better about it and like sit down and read actual books about the subjects. That I'm interested in. The thing I always find fascinating with physics is just kind of how it is. Okay, so what's like the most mind-blowing thing you've read about lately? I like medieval history a lot. I'm writing fantasy books, so lately though, uh, early early 20th century has been really fascinating me. Like late 1800s, early 1900s has been really interesting. I like that era because it's an interesting era because it's the it's sort of yeah. Tell me about it. I like the I'm interest I've become interested in the early 1900s because it's an interesting era because it's essentially it's like the last vestiges of the old world order is dying dies in that sort of era, and we have like and it's kind of like so like royalty and stuff still exists and is still prominent, but it's becoming evident that they're less important than they used to be, and a bunch of anyways yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. What if another universe like started like a decade like a couple of years ago, but we just didn't notice? Yeah, yeah. So that's what I always find. I find those periods of history interesting because it's like because like royalty is still like a big deal, but it's obvious like the power is shift. It has pretty prominently shifted, And like in some ways, like World War I will be the true end of royalty as as like royalty as a concept, as like with legitimate power, because and all that stuff is building up in that time period. So it's an interesting place where it's like, I like to describe it as the death of kings. Because after like, cause so like after World War I, like numerous kingdoms just stop existing, and transition into republics, or like it's a pretty interesting time. I know. I'm saying that as a bit. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a fun sci-fi plot. A universe, the new universe just starts. Straight up like Galactus, we'd be galactusing all over the place. Exactly. We'd just be a whole bunch of galactuses. I am really surprised that apparently the new Fantastic Four movie is jumping right to Galactus. That is a shock to me, but you know, what can you do? So how's the how but I guess it's like, who do you start with that? It's like Mole Man. Do you do Mole Man first? The Frightful Four. I would love it. Like the new big franchise is Mole. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do Mole Man. He's gonna be our our big new villain. Anyways, yeah, yeah, it's hard. It may have been better for them. I don't know. I try and avoid doing like Monday morning quarterbacking with all this stuff, because it's like I'm not in charge of any of this. But may have been better than to scale back down for a while, just focus on smaller stories. We'll see. I mean, to me, I know I am critical. I can be critical of what I consume, but I try. The thing is, Luke, what you don't want to do is build up your own movies in your. You don't want to have your version of the movie in your head compete with the movie that exists, because no matter what, that's always going to be disappointing. You have to kind of accept that whatever they're gonna make is what they're gonna make, and you can be critical, but it's like, so what I'm saying is, like, I don't want to be like, well, if I was in charge, this is what I would do, because I'm not in charge. So if I dislike it, I dislike it, but I'm not going to be like, Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to be like, well, I think they should do this. It's like, well, who the fuck am I? Yeah. Well, the thing is, the thing that exists in your head will always be the better thing. Like the version of the movie that exists in your head, the version of the TV show or book or whatever that exists in your head will always be the best thing possible. And nothing can compare truly. So, and at that point, if you're doing nothing but that, you should start writing your own stuff. But then again, I've been a fan of Marvel Comics long before the movies existed, so I so it's a little bit hard at times to avoid that. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, I don't think it's if you don't. I think at a certain point it becomes like, well, I'm just going to make my own stuff. Then, if you're constantly thinking that, at least we're creatives, and if we're thinking that, we should be like, um, if we have that instinct, well, that's dumb. They should do this, and it's like, well, maybe you should be writing that because the best way to criticize a movie is to make another movie, as they say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, it is a fine line because I agree, but it's also like I don't like a type of criticism I dislike is like, well, they should have is clearly the guy yeah has their own ideas, wanted the movie in a certain way, and the fact that like the movie did not follow the exact specifications that they had in their head is its biggest flaw. And I'm like, well, that it was never going to be good then. It was never going to be good then if that's the way you do things. But again, it is that is a human. Anyways, you go in circles with this. Um, you can go in. I can go in circles with this, which is always an issue. Yeah, and also the comics always exist. There's a reason why they're being adapted is because they were good. And hey, Tio, good to see you. Yeah, that could work. Oh God, what a terrible movie! What a terrible movie! I've seen that movie. I saw the movie. I tend to. I don't usually. Oh, that was so bad. I'm not even like the biggest Avatar fan in the world, but I was like, this sucks. I feel bad. This is like this is a legitimate embarrassing movie. The names thing was humiliating. The name thing was humiliating him. I kind of like M Night Shyamalan. Like some of his early movies are pretty well directed, and oh, that was just so like I really liked Unbroken or Unbreakable. What is it? The Bruce Willis one. Anybody see that one? Not the other Bruce Willis one. Yeah, where he plays the superhero. I thought that was a really good movie. Anyways, so Luke, tell me, who are you writing the fan? Which who are you writing the fanfic for? And nothing can beat my early fanfic. You want to? I've told this story. The plot, I wrote a fanfic as a 13-year-old, and the plot was Danny Phantom joins the Assassins Guild from the Assassins from Assassin's Creed. That was my very cool idea, my very genius idea that I thought was very, very cool. Yeah. Valorant. That's a thing I recognize. I do not know anything past that. Yeah. I don't really play those types of games. I got in trouble on YouTube. I made a video on YouTube a little while ago complaining about the storytelling in Marvel Rivals, and ooh boy, did people get mad at me. Um, I wasn't even complaining about the story. I was like, Marvel had made this spin-off comic set in the universe, and I was annoyed that like they just didn't do any like basic storytelling. I was annoyed that they didn't do just like any basic storytelling, and it was just like fight scenes, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on here. Please, somebody tell me, like, sit down and explain a little bit of the plot to me. And people were like, you didn't pay attention enough to the lore. You don't know what the lore is. I'm like, no, man. I don't know. I, I did research it before I talked about it. Like, I do. I don't know. But I think, Luke, if my not to presume on things, places, yeah. Well, the gameplay is fun. Yeah, like I enjoy playing it, but it bugs me that it's not a great story particularly. And to be fair, it's a multiplayer game, and that's hard to get a great story out of, and essentially. So I'm not. I don't mind that the story isn't necessarily like it's not Macbeth or something, it's not a Hamlet level thing. It's you have just get enough justification for it to make sense what everybody's doing. But I don't know. It's I find this what's so funny to me, if I could, the thing I find funniest about Marvel Rivals is it's clearly there's one person who's a good guy and one person who's a bad guy, and it's so obvious. It's so obvious which side is the good guy. Well, Marvel can tell a good story. Like, well, that's my thing. Okay, so here's my thing, though. Marvel has a plot line called see, it's Secret Wars. Marvel has a few plot lines that they could have easily adapted. There's Secret Wars. There's a Tournament of Champion. Is it Contest of Champions? I always forget exactly. And the premise is that intergalactic, intergalactic beings of immense power abduct Marvel heroes and force them to fight each other. And I'm like, you could have just done that storyline, but they had to like create their own they had to create their own thing. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's the thing. Easily, what they could have easily adapted. Not it's not secret. What is it? Oh, I'm trying to remember. Oh fuck. I feel bad because I'm like, oh, you're not a real fan. It's like it's with the Beyonder. It's with the Beyond. It's when the Beyonder premiered. It's with the Beyonder and Jim Shooter. The Beyonder. I just find it so. Marvel, the Beyonder. They do. Marvel has great story. Secret Wars. I was correct. It was Secret Wars. Haha. I feel smart that I knew that offhand. So, Secret Wars, it was a storyline in Marvel Comics where a near omniscient being called the Beyonder abducts numerous heroes from Earth and forces them to fight each other to figure out who the greatest is. I don't know. That seems like it could be an easy plot to adapt. Why not just do that? I, f- I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's fun. What are you talking about? Cameos are fun and not distracting at all. But to me, and then there's like Contest of Champions, which has a similar plot. In fact, there are numerous plots, Luke, where a near omniscient, powerful being from beyond the cosmos comes down, abducts several heroes, and forces them to fight each other. It's happened a few times in the Marvel universe because there's also the Contest of Champions, where that's there's it's the Contest of Champions where that's a plot line. There's a few of them where this occurs, and I'm just curious why that wasn't the plot line they used. It's this inexplicable I always find it so funny. I always yeah should do that. Let's see, Marvel Rivals. Let's see, Spider. Yes, he is. Well, Doctor Doom is my favorite character. Is my favorite Marvel villain. So I'm very excited about that. But I'm just trying to. Yeah, whatever. whatever. I wanted to show something off because I thought this was very funny. There's two sides. One is being run by an evil admiral dressed guy, like who's dressed like an English admiral with like robotic spider legs, and the other one is being run by an attractive girl. And I'm like, I wonder which side is going to be revealed to be the bad guy side. Because it's never the cute girl, you know. What fiction has taught me, Luke, is that the attract the attractive people are never shown to be the heroes of the story. No, none whatsoever. Yeah. I'm trying to find the character. I'm gonna give up on this. So okay, one second, one second. Let me find it. Because I'm going crazy because I feel like, did I imagine this? I'm certain I didn't imagine this. Spider Zero. Haha. Okay, that's it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, yeah. Spider Zero. Master Weaver. Okay, I'm going to present you two people. I'm going to present you two character designs, and see if you can infer who the hero, who I suspect is going to be proven to be the hero, and who I suspect is the villain. This is Spider Zero. This is Spider Zero. Can you see her? Notice how she's an attractive. Notice how she's an attractive young woman with a cute pet. Cute pet. A cute spider pet. And this is the opposing side, the Master Weaver. Hmm. Hmm. Notice how he's a terrifying robot with a spider body? He also dresses like this. And this. He also dresses like this. Of course. But, I wonder who's gonna be the hero. I wonder which person. I wonder which person they're setting up to be the villain and which person they're setting up to be the hero. I wonder. Is all I'm saying. I wonder who's gonna be the hero and who's gonna be the villain in that story. Oh, certainly the terrifying robot man called the Master Weaver. Hey, Venom is now a hero, and he's connected to Flash. God, what? I feel suddenly. He's now. I don't know if he's still connected to Eddie Brock. I think he's connected to Flash. Can tell I stopped following Marvel Comics like in the dedicatedly following Marvel Comics in like the mid 2000s or like 2010s, right? Eddie Brock. Yeah, no, but he's jumped over to Flash. Flash Thompson. Why was that banned? Why was that banned? He's jumped over to Flash Thompson as of last I checked in with Venom. He's been with Flash Thompson. Auto ban frustrates me. That doesn't get auto banned. Google Twitch filters. What are you doing? Yeah, it's bad. It's bad and not permitted. Unfortunately, I have to keep. Experience has taught me that I have to keep the. We got some trolls in here, some really aggressive trolls in here a while back. So I am keeping the filters up, but that irritates me that gay is not in the permitted terms, and I'm sure I'm just gonna have to keep permitting it over and over again, which is gonna frustrate me. What can you do? Haven't seen that dude in a long time, so. Yeah, it was that was not a fun time. That wasn't a particularly fun time in my life with that dude because he would pop up every stream. But I think I pretty much caught him. I think he's pretty much done. So, if advice for anybody streaming, set up cell phone authentication and. Oh, because he would evade bans, Luke. He had like 100. He had a couple hundred dummy accounts, but I could tell it was the same guy. Yeah, it was very obviously the same guy over and over again. Finally, what kind of got rid of him was I set up cell phone. You have to be authentic. It's either cell phone authentication and also you have, I forget what it is, but it's like you have to be on Twitch for a couple of weeks before you can comment. Either one or the other. I forget the exact amount of times. Yeah. And I also upped the bot just so that any attempt, but it is frustrating because it's more annoying than anything, but I'm like, ugh. But I've experienced the worst without it, so might as well. Yeah. I don't know, Tio? Were you here when that dude was popping up? And I'm certain he was like 15. I'm certain he was like 13 or 14 years old, which was. Uh, oh, thank you so much for the follow. No, it was like last year. Thank you so much for the follow. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. I'm trying to get to 1,000 follows before my birthday. I've been so close for like the past year, and I'm just like, I just want to get there. Anyways, June 21st. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this guy. Yeah. Thank you. I just feel uh like it doesn't feel like you're real until you hit 1,000. I know that's stupid, but it is what it is. I plan to do a whole 48-hour stream when I hit 1,000 followers on here. So tell your friends. I've done a 24-hour stream before, but I've never done a 48-hour stream. So we'll see. No worries, no worries. I appreciate the stop by. Oh, so Tio, how is your morning treating you? Did I tell you the premise of my? Oh, have I told you guys the premise of my book yet? Um, have I told you the premise of my book yet, Luke? Yeah. And it, well, well, thanks, Tio. Yes, I was gonna pitch the idea to Luke. Yes. Yes, it's about an orc who becomes a pro wrestler. Thank you. Thank you for stepping on my whole little pitch. I know I've talked about it before, but I'm trying to get people interested in it. Elemental. Hello, hello. How goes it on this fine and lovely day? You want to see? You want to see the cover? Elementus. How goes it on this fine and lovely day? Hope the world is treating you the way it should be. Oh yes, I'll show the cover. One second. Boop. Oh wait, no. There it is. There's the cover. Aha! Front cover, and then because I accidentally already showed it, back cover. Isn't it beautiful? I love it so much. I didn't draw this, by the way. I hired a better artist to draw it for me. So what do we got? What have we got going on today, El? Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Ugh. Ugh. Tio, have you tried some coffee? Some coffee. Have you tried some coffee? Some breakfast? Some breakfast? Some delicious... You know coffee? Coffee. Have you had some coffee? Have you had coffee? Have you had coffee? Yeah. So this is my exciting and interesting personality, Tio, that nobody else has, and it's very original. I actually love coffee, and I often say to people, especially in the morning, don't talk to me before I have had my coffee. It's very exciting and very original, and it's a very unique personality that I alone have. I actually grind my own beans, Tio, in a hand grinder, just so I can get a better flavor. Eh. Oh, I definitely won't meet the goals today. Wouldn't that be awesome? By the way, if I do get like 1,000, I would like just stop for the week and continue on later. And do I would do the I wouldn't do the 48-hour stream right away. I would wait till like I like the weekend so I could get more people. I don't think you have. Tell me this epic tale of woe. Oh my god, Tio, that happens all the time. You have no idea how close I'll come to hitting a goal at like I'm just about to cross over to a goal that I have, and then nope, somebody unfollows me right as I hit like the 100 mark or something. It's hilarious. Yeah. Well, that's good. Okay. I mean, I find art a very peaceful pursuit. Well, that's nice. Yeah, I've always found art to be a very like um, meditative pursuit. That's why I'm always like really bummed when I take a little break from it because I'm like, oh, I could be feeling a lot better than I am right now. Well, um, you can't stay in that mood forever, you know. The world always brings you back. So the hook always brings you back. Always brings. No, don't do that. I was doing this bit for a while. Anytime somebody would do posture check, I would make my posture really bad, and that was a stupid idea. That was a very stupid idea on my part. Okay. Very much better. I know somebody. They're a lovely person. They will stream art occasionally, and they will not have the autofocus turned off. And it's very hard to watch occasionally because it's like you have to turn the autofocus off when you're doing art because the camera will just constantly readjust. Guess we'll go another hour. Ah! Ah! Thank you. Well, I'm trying. I'm trying to pretend to be a wheel artist. What time is it? 6:48. You know, a thing I used to do. Um, don't tell anybody I did this. I would do this, but I would deliberately try and time streams to end. I would deliberately try and time streams to start just before some of the AI news stream would end, because I was like, oh, there's a good chance that they may raid me. So if I can time this correctly, I can probably get a nice little raid, and that would work more than you would realize. Yeah, that would work more than you realize, because it's like you just gotta. I don't really do that anymore, but that used to be a trick that would work quite a lot. No comment. My masterful social hacking. Oh God, I'm getting tired. I'm gonna try and hit 3 hours, but I don't know if I can keep this up. I've heard the word Riz. You know I don't know what memes are. Yeah. Did you ever watch The Wire, the TV show The Wire? Yeah, well, yeah, a few other people, but yes, Dominic West was in it. That was like, man, that show was so cool. That show was like amazing. It's like one of the best shows I ever saw. Anyways, I watched a few clips from it a few days ago, and I have a real big desire to rewatch it, because I don't think I ever finished it. I never finished the show, so I should. There's a part of me that wants to sit down and finally finish it, but it's been so long since I've actually seen it. I should probably just rewatch the entire thing. It's about as realistic crime show. like, they always talk about like the golden age of television, and really I think, The Sopranos is where it starts it, but like The Wire is a good example of those sorts of shows like reaching their peak. Because it's a fairly like multifaceted look at a city, at the city of Baltimore's crime problems. Yeah, I guess, but I'd rather just experience it again. Yeah, but it doesn't like, um, it doesn't work it would be hard to write like just an episode of it. It has like season long. Um, it's a fairly complicated show. Um, yeah. I mean, there is. I mean, there is plot lines like that occasionally. I don't know if that exactly that, but it's kind of it's essentially like a top down look at crime in Baltimore, and it follows, and it kind of follows every level of it, from like the police to the like the distributors to the addicts to like the high level gangsters to like the corrupt politicians and stuff like that. It's a really kind of amazing show. And the creators of it, the two creators of it were, one of them, he was like a crime reporter in Baltimore for a long time, so he has like fairly good firsthand experience at it. He also created another show that I need to see called Homicide: Life on the Street, which was based on his like real life crime reporting. Oh man, I'm losing energy. Yeah, it did. It did. It felt, yeah, when you like compare it to like shows that came before it, where like, no, what shows were on, like, okay. The Wire. Okay. Shows that were on in 2002. Premiered in 2002. Okay. Oh. I said, like, compare it, and then I looked at some of the ones, and it's like, oh, actually, 2002 wasn't a bad year for TV. I mean, there's some kind of crap, but. Oh, God, the terrible Birds of Prey show. Oh, my God. Oh, CSI Miami. Yeah. Animal Cops? That's. What the fuck is that? Okay. It's literally what it sounds like. Yeah. Yeah, it felt very different. I was just like, honestly, 2001, not a bad year for TV. Some good shows premiered. Um, but like, it's always, yeah, yeah. As opposed to what Marvel movies, which is what you used to use. But, oh my God, have you ever seen the Birds of Prey TV show? Oh, one of the worst shows I've ever seen in my life. So bad. As opposed to what, me talking about Marvel movies constantly? Not a bad, not a bad, not a bad shirt. Sure. I was thinking of selling. Well, that was my criticism of the Marvel Rivals comic. It's like there's no fucking plot in that series. It's just nonsense. People got really mad at me for saying that. I was nice about it, but it's like it's fucking nonsense. I've never like I've never thrown that I've never got to a scene in a comic where I'm like, okay, I'm done. This is stupid. I'm not doing this. I'm not reading this anymore. I've read some very stupid comics that I've never thrown down a comic and go like I can't read this anymore. This is so aggravating. Because it's bad in the way like okay, yeah, anyways. I'm starting to get nervous that comic writers trying to be funny are and failing or becoming as big a problem as comic writers trying to be dramatic and failing. I'm noticing I'm noticing an issue. I'm noticing an issue there. Yes, I know. Well, it's not even okay. Okay, can I explain what the scene that made me quit the Marvel Rivals comic? And I was like, I'm sick of this thing. Um, so it was in the middle of a fight. I still wasn't really. I was sort of following what the storyline was, but randomly they stop in the middle of the fight so that Penny Parker can do a dance move, like starts doing breakdance moves out of nowhere, and everybody else goes like, "Wow, that was awesome!" And I'm like, and I was like, okay, this is stupid. I am putting this down. This this is a stupid This is a stupid comic because it's like we don't have time to set up them like why we don't have real time to set up why the characters are fighting. We get some minor lip service to the fact that maybe she's looking for her version of her father. No, but that was that. Yeah, yeah. No, it wasn't that it was. It wasn't that it was like any of that. It was just like it comes out of nowhere, and then it comes out of nowhere isn't funny, and then everybody declares it awesome. I'm like, what the fuck is even this plot? What is this story? It wasn't funny. That wasn't a funny bit. It was just random nonsense for random nonsense's sake. And I might get accused of that in my writing, but like there's nothing to this. It's just gonna be is it just gonna be nothing but nonstop references to the game? Maybe, I don't know. But then why do a story? But the puny god thing had like character moments and stuff that made sense. That was a subversion of stuff. That was a perfectly fine joke, but it's like it just kind of it comes out. It just comes out of nowhere, feels nothing, and then it's just like that's it. That's the joke. I can't emphasize for you. It's not even standards. It's just like it's not anything. It's just a random idea. It's just a random neuron that was firing. See, because Tio, what I think it is I think it's a reference to an emote in the game. Is I think is what they were doing, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't it means nothing, and it's just you have a character in the middle of a pitch battle, just like suddenly going like, let me do a dance move, and then everybody going like, wow, that was awesome, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? That's not funny. Like comedy should have like some like like some rhyme or rhythm. Yeah, exactly. Well, like my real criticism of that comic is it essentially feels like somebody is just adapting a couple of games that they played of the game. And I'm sure it was a fun time for the writers and artists. Like I'm sure they had fun I'm sure they had fun playing it themselves. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure they had a good time and it was an enjoyable just playing some games with your friends, but that's not really that fun of a with a bunch of like inside jokes, but that's not really that fun of an idea. That's not really that fun to read. And comics entirely, especially like comedy comics entirely are growing very like susceptible to this like just saying awesome is a joke in and of itself. Like the amount of times I've read like a comedy because I like when comics are funny. By the way, I don't know if this is coming off. The reason I read a lot of these is because I want to read funny comics. But it's like comedy comics, especially comedy superhero comics, are having this real problem where like they think a joke is just to say something is awesome. Like yeah, yeah, like yeah, I mean, sir, like I'll throw this out there. This is mean. I don't want to be mean, but who cares? Nobody's watching this but you. The new Peacemaker comic. I really like the Peacemaker TV show. I really like. I think that's a really good show. So I was excited to read the comics, and half of that comic is just like Peacemaker talking about how awesome like various DC things are, which is a problem that DC will run into. It's like he just goes on about how awesome and that's an issue. DC also a few years earlier had produced a very good very good funny comic called about Jimmy Olsen called Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, and that comic is legitimately very funny and knows how to do comedy correctly. The first issue of that comic involves Jimmy Olsen waking up covered in blood, and in the middle of an ape city as he discovers he drunkenly got married to an assassin last night, and he has to somehow figure out a way out of the situation without getting killed. That's funny. That's good. That's full of comedic setups. That's a comedic plot that they managed. Yeah, yeah. So it's stuff like that. It's stuff like that. Like it's the High Five. It's the French gorilla and his brain lover. I always forget their name. That's one of Grant Morrison's creations. Is It's the French gorilla and his boyfriend, the brain in the jar. I always forget what their names are. And like this is like a legitimate scene in the Peacemaker comics where he just goes like, "Yeah, I'm in a car with a French gorilla. How awesome is that?" I'm like, thank you for calling attention to that. Yes, it is. Yes, a French gorilla is a very whack. A French revolutionary gorilla is a very wacky idea. It was very wacky in the '90s when Grant Morrison came up with that. Grant Morrison came up with that. I get irritated. I get irritated when all DC does. Yeah. Well, I liked the show a lot. I really liked the show, so I was very excited about the comics. And they just do what boring, like what a lot of these like these more lighthearted comics have been doing as of late, which is just going, uh, boy, that's awesome. Boy, that's cool. You're the best. You're the coolest. And I'm like, God, I would really like you to just tell stories with these characters and not go on and on about how cool these characters are and how much you should like them. Like, and that's because Marvel Rivals has a good cast. They could easily tell. Like, here's my thing. I think it was a mistake for the Marvel Rivals comic, and I know I just said you shouldn't do this, but whatever, I'm going to do this anyways. Try and tell a story with the full roster of people. Clearly, they had some idea of a Penny Parker story, and that might have been just the character to focus on, and that probably would have been a stronger idea. But them trying to have like 20 characters in one comic when you have limited amount of time to tell that story, it was such a flaw. One thing I hate about it's not that every comic does this bad, and there's good comics that pull this off, so whatever. But modern comics occasionally have the need to have like 30 characters in one story at all times. And it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like this would have been a stronger. I feel like this would have been a stronger story if you just focused on a small cast of characters and given them more of a more story than having like 30 characters get like half a second of storyline. Yes, yes. Punish them greatly. Or just care about like telling storylines with comedy. Don't just do references. I think uh I think it should be a crime if you're in a comedy and the only reason you can explain why the joke is funny is that it's a reference to another thing, then it's illegal. And I think it's only fair that the writer of said joke has to go to a prison planet and mine the lithium crystals for 20 years. I think that's fair. I think that's nice and I think that's fair and I don't think anybody would have an issue with that. Delicious, delicious dilithium crystals. Of course, that's a very, of course, as I say that, that's, oh, but the irony, Tio, in that as I say that, something that, a joke that is only a reference should send people to a prison planet. The irony, the twist is I'm making a reference right now! Yes. Oh yes, a LARP session, not. Yeah. I guess this segues into kind of my feelings about like I sometimes think shows are being a little bit I don't know. Sometimes I get annoyed nowadays that shows themselves are handling the affectionate parodies. I'm like, I don't know, man. Yeah. Like, I don't think you can parody yourself. Or maybe you can. I don't know. Oh, I'm tired. I don't think I have the energy to keep going. I wanted to hit 3 hours because I just feel like that's a good amount of time to do a stream. But I just don't know if I have the energy. Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm tired. I think I'm done. I'll come back. I'll come back this afternoon and do more stuff. I'm more in the mood for drawing right now than writing, so I'll probably just do more art. But needless to say, I probably am going to be doing a lot of streams just because I'm trying very hard to get up to monetization status on YouTube. And I'm getting closer than I have been in a while. I'm more than halfway there. More than halfway there. To the first level. Technically, yeah, it's irritating because there's 2 levels of monetization, and you need 3,000 watch hours. I have a Patreon. I should set. I do. You know, I actually do have. I do have a Ko-fi. I do have a Ko-fi. I just. I don't. I haven't done anything really with it yet. Like I don't really have anything set up with it yet. But I do have one. I'll link it 1 second. If you want. I am thinking about selling through Ko-fi, Patreon and Ko-fi editing services. If people are curious, if people want to hire me to do some like line editing for them. Okay. I think I want to call it here. But I'm only 3 minutes away from 3 hours. I like the numbers to be round. I like them to. No, I can't. I don't got. I don't got the energy. Let's see. Anybody want to? No, I don't got it. I don't got it. Okay. Bye.